How's it? Welcome along to Bez's Garage. It's raining, the heater's on, the lights are on, and it's a good time to be in the garage. So what I'm going to show you today is starter motors. So starter motors, sometimes you have to replace the gears because they wear out. But I'm going to show you how to, I guess we'll call it race prepping a starter motor. So you never know what state the starter motor is when you get your motor, so it's a good idea to pull them apart, have a look inside, clean it up a little bit, put it back together, and you'll have less hassles with your starting. So what we need is very little tools, as you can see on the bench here at the moment, and we'll show you how to pull it apart. So the first thing you do is you're going to grab your white pen, and you're going to put a little mark at the top. Here's one I prepared earlier. You have a little mark with your white pen. Love these white pens, these are awesome. A little mark down here, just so that we know it's going to go back the same way around. Okay, now the tricky thing with these is the top of them have a little circle up here. You can sort of see the circle up here, it sort of goes around. So there's a special tool you can get to pull them out. And of course I haven't got the special tool, so what I tend to do is I get myself a rag and I get myself a screwdriver. This here will push down. So you can get your screwdriver underneath the C-clip. So I'm going to see if this is going to work. Now I always put a rag over the top of here while I'm doing it. So A, I don't stab my fingers, but also so that if this clip pings off, I can catch it in the rag. So what I tend to do is come underneath the C-clip and then just spick it up like that. And then sometimes this works first time and sometimes it doesn't. So you've got to sort of flick it up a little bit as you go around. As I say, there is a special tool for this, but I don't have it. And all going well, I should be able to. There we go. So there's a little C-clip. So we'll lay that on the bench over there. And now we can pull the top of this off, lay it out. So what I always do is lay it in order. So I put the C-clip at the end, then the next bit that came off, then I'll grab the spring, put that there, the little spacer washer that goes in there, and then this whole assembly should slide off, and we'll put that there, okay? So that's all sitting there, all happy days. Now we can take it out of here. Now we want to pull off the bottom part of it. So inside here, the armature part, we need to get that out. So get your socket, get it on the right way, undo it here, loosen these off. And pull these right out. Throw it on the floor, pick it up off the floor. So usually these are not too bad to get out. Both these bolts are the same and actually go right through up to the top of here. So when you've undone that, okay, so we've got the mark on there and mark on there. Pull the back cover off. Okay, we can have a look inside. So this is the bush that's in here. I always think it's a good idea to give all this a clean up and then lube up the bush that's in there as well. So we'll lay that over here with the bolts. Now in here we have all the brushes. Now the front will also come off now if we're lucky. So there's the front coming off. So we're going to lay the front over here. And then also there's a couple of washers underneath here. We're going to lay those out and put them there. Now we can actually just push the whole thing up and the whole starter motor will come out. So these are all the brushes and this is the armature that's inside. Now once you have a look at this, you want to see if it's really hot, burnt, damaged. It's got a little bit of wear on it, but it's not too bad. And we want to have a look at the rings here. So this is the part that actually does the work. The little brushes sit onto here and they make a current through here, and that's what makes a starter motor turn. I'm not going to get too technological about how it works, but all you need to know is that these need to be in good condition. Now, what I like to do with these is I like to get myself a file like this, a nice fine file. Come with me over here to the drill press. And we'll put this into the drill press. Put this on here, tighten it up. We'll slow it right down. And we'll give it a bit of a spin. And then I like to get the file and just sit it on here. Try and keep it nice and flat. And you just want to give it a little bit of a clean up. You could use sandpaper as well. Just makes it look nice and clean. You've got a good connection there. So the other thing you want to do is once you've done that, we'll come back over to the bench over here, and I'm going to grab a little pointy tool. So you need a little pointy tool like this, and you just want to make sure that it's clear in between all of these little pieces here. Okay, you don't want to get too carried away. You just need to give it a little bit of a clean down here to make sure that there's not too much in there. You could use a feeler gauge possibly as well, but by doing this it just gives them a little bit of a clean out, so you're not going to have a contact between the two pieces. So we'll go around all these, and I think we're just about done now. Okay. Right, cool. So that's looking pretty good. Nice and clean, the gaps are clean, it's going to have a better connection now. You can get carried away and you could give these a bit of a clean. What you can use is just a piece of emery paper like this and give it just a little bit of a buff up. It just takes away the carbon buildup that's on the brushes sometimes, so just give it a little bit of a clean like that. You probably don't need to do this, but it's I just give them a little bit of a go, and then just takes the worst of it off, I feel. Right, so now ordinarily what I would do is I would clean all this stuff up. I would get some white spirits and clean it all up, clean all these things up so they're all good, but with time on us today, I'm just going to show you how to reassemble it. So once we've got it, now remember that these cutouts were in the bottom of here. So when you assemble it, the first thing you want to do is grab your armature. Now I'll put a little bit of stuff on there. Now what I reckon is a good idea is to grab something like this or some grease and just put a little tiny bit on here so that it has a little bit of lubrication for the bush that it goes through. So the bush is actually in here, and now we can just push this into here, making sure we're in the right way. Remember that this bit goes to the bottom. Push it in here, and it'll go in because the magnet's going to hold it there, okay? So the magnet holds it there. Then we're going to get this piece, and remember we put the line and the line. So with a little bit of oil on there, that should just go down relatively easy and line up pretty close to where we want to go. Because when we look inside, we can see a hole. That hole goes straight through, and that's where the bolts line up. Okay, so then what I do is I put this back in the vise here, like this. Now this is the cool tricky part. So what you need is 4 little nails and a rubber band. This is just the way that I put it together. You might have your own little trick, or somebody might have better ways of doing it. So what I do is with the brushes, make sure the springs are in here and the brushes are in good condition. If they're too worn out, you could get new brushes and replace them, or get another starter motor, however you want to do it. So what we need to do is make sure that each of these have got the spring in. So I'll put the springs back in, and then we need to push the bushes in. So you push the bush in, or the brush, sorry, push it right through like this, and then you get one of these little nails and you put it down here and push it through there like that. So what that's done is it now holds the brush where it needs to be. So you have to be pretty good with your fingers to do this. We're going to do the next one. Put that one in, push it into there. Of course, it's much easier when you do it the first time. When you've got to repeat it again, it's always a bit trickier. So that goes into there. So now I've got 2 in there, and again I'm going to put a little nail in there. So now I've got 2 nails in there. And then I need to make sure the springs are in there. So this one here goes into here, put the spring in, put the brush in, okay. Put the brush in, push it back, and put the nail in. Okay, so now that you've got the 3 nails in there, you can actually just pull them all up like this. And then you get your rubber band, put your rubber band over the top, put your other one up into here, put your rubber band onto that one. Okay, and we've got one left to do. So I'll put the spring in, and then we'll put the brush in. Okay, the brush is in, put your little nail in there, put your little there over there, and then lift the, obviously the size of the rubber band is crucial. I didn't have exactly the right size, so I've done that. So what that's effectively done now is it's holding the bushes so that you can just slide the cover on. Okay, real simple, real easy. We're going to come back over here, we're going to line our marks up. So we've got the white mark there and the white mark there, the bolt holes and the attachment that goes into here. So then we're just going to slide this over, making sure that it's all clear of where it needs to go. Make sure it's sitting in the right place. And then it should just push in like that, and then you can just pull these out. So now it's all back together again, tickety-boo. Get your cover, line it up with your marks on here. Put a bit of oil on the back of here too. Like I said, I'm actually going to pull this apart and I'm going to clean it all up and make it all look nice, but this is just for you guys so you can see what to do. Put this on here, slide it back together to there. Get your bolts. And your bolts should now go straight down through, and if you've got everything lined up, they should just actually bolt straight in. We must have done a pretty good job because they're going straight in where they need to go. Right, so undo that. And then, oh yeah, that's right, that's a good point. Don't forget to put these in. That's a good point. We might have to go and put those in. So I'll just undo this quickly. I was getting ahead of myself, even though I said lay everything out. So we'll just fix this quite easily. We will pull this out of here. Hopefully we can just pull the cover off without bringing all the bushes out. Did we manage to do that? We did. So then we can put these back in here where they were. Then we can put this cover back on again, which needs to line up again with that bit there. Okay, now we're talking. So that was good spotting by Belinda, because I'd forgotten. I mean, you guys probably have seen it on the TV and going, what the hell is he doing? He's forgotten to put those back in again. Well, you know, that's what happens when you're doing it live and trying to show you how to do it. So right, so we'll put this together now. Bolt this up. I will now grab my socket. We'll give this a bit of a nip. Alright, it's nipped up. So the next part, we're going to put all this stuff back on again. So back into the vise again. Now once again, you are going to need to clean all this up. So this is nice and if it's nice and clean, it's going to move smoother. Now I would not recommend lubricating, because the lubrication attracts dust. You want to keep it clean and dry. Alright, because when this spins, it flicks it out, engages, and when it goes too fast, it flicks it back down again. So you need to have this smooth and working. You see there's little flats on here. The flats line up with the flats on here, so that's now locked on there. We need to put the spring on, we need to put the washer on, and we need to put the cap on. Now this is the tricky bit, putting the C-clip back on again. What I tend to do is give it a little bit of a nip up with some pliers before you put it back together again, so try not to catch your fingers in there and give yourself a drama, but just get a little bit of a nip up. And you need to get the right size socket. So you want to get a socket that just slides over the centerpiece. And then you rest the C-clip on top of here. Get yourself a little knockometer. Carefully put this sitting on top of here. Now this is a little bit tricky. Carefully sit it on there as best you can. And then hopefully there we go. Now the C-clip is now stuck in there, and the starter motor is back together again. So I obviously am going to paint this, make it look all nice, but starter motor now is happy as. I haven't got a battery I could show the shot. Well, actually no, we'll hang on. Give me 2 seconds. I'll just grab my jumper leads from here, and hopefully I can grab the battery from down here, and we'll just give it a little bit of a check. Positive to positive. Negative to negative, put the negative onto here, and we'll make some sparks. Okay, so we can see the starter motor. So if you watch this top part here, when I flick it, it flicks up and then it comes back down. Okay, so you want to make sure that that is nice and clean and it comes down with that spring just to hold it back down again. So, all right, starter motor fixed, ready to go for the next season. So you could possibly do that every season just to clean it up so that it gives you less drama. Obviously you could buy new starter motors and that, but you know, all costs money. So yeah, how to race prep your starter motor. Until next time, Bez's Garage.